Run.
Thank you, and this is my first time learning the ins and outs of this room, and I understand the switch activates the microphones, so we're all on. In the seating arrangement, I was advised by Kirby that this is the way we should sit no? Anyway, that's what I was told, to set it up this way and have the friends are in the front seats, just for our viewing audience, so that you know they're here. And there's no way that they can have their name tags out now. That's not good. But anyway.
We'll put them on the floor.
Okay. But the friends are here. We have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 members. 6? Is Peg a member of the Friends? No, okay. I mean, a member, not on the board, not of the Friends group, but, okay, but welcome anyway. And welcome Barbara Cam. So, and Barbara McCrae's
Alan.
of a half. Alan McCrae's here,
Smart
so. Well.
Billy Bob's dad.
So anyway, I think everyone has a packet, and I apologize because the agenda is a little backwards. So I would like to ask your indulgence, if you don't mind. I forgot to put down the minutes. We need to approve the minutes from the meeting on the January 4th, I believe it was. And then we should have, the vision statement should be A, and then establish a plan of action should be B. If you don't mind switching things around a little, is everybody okay with that?
Sure.
Okay. I don't know where my head was when I did this, but, and we could add probably a third thing as we go along, because it'll probably come up anyway, is the frequency of meetings. That was another thing that's been tossed around, so keep that in mind too. So welcome. And I'd like to suggest you all have a copy of the minutes from our first meeting in your packet. And if you've had enough time to look at them, I would entertain a motion to have them approved.
So moved.
Does anyone need more time? Excuse me, Maureen, I'm sorry. That has to be seconded, and then we can have discussion.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Discussion. Does anyone need any more time to review them? Okay. If not, then, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes, the joint Friends and COA Board minutes from January 4th. All those in favor, and also, just let me paraphrase, explain this too. I looked into this because this is all new, having joint meetings.
Right.
And I was advised that it's actually the COA Board that can vote. But if friends have comments or corrections, then, you always say them and speak up, and we can modify the minutes, just so you understand that. Everybody's on the same page? Okay, good. Now we can move ahead, I think, and take the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And no abstentions. All right, I think the vote was unanimous, Bob.
I got it.
Thank you. So we've taken care of that piece of business. And then, the first item, we had talked back when Paul Avella met with us, one of the things he advised was that you have a vision statement. Okay, what do we see is happening, and where do we want to go? So with that in mind, I went online this morning and pulled up this little sheet you have in your packet, because I thought it might be helpful to have some guidance as how do you establish a vision statement. And I thought this was pretty concise and easy, because down under the brainstorming questions, what would the world look like if this problem was solved? Does anyone have a vision of having a senior center? And what would the world look like in Littleton if we had a bigger space? So, it's a good question. And if we were completely successful, what would this look like for you and your customers? And this is, actually I found it, this is for nonprofits. They have vision statements online, suggested, things for profit-making organizations, and we're nonprofit, essentially, so everything goes back to seniors, so.
So if, is
ahead.
it supposed to be, well, it says something about trying to have it be no more than one word string, or avoid, it should be 5 to 14 words. So what if it said something to the effect of, a senior center to meet the needs of Littleton seniors.
Good place to start.
Is that what our vision is?
Say it again, please.
One more time.
A senior center to meet the needs of Littleton seniors.
Maybe we should use that easy whiteboard behind Mary. Might be helpful.
Want me to write it up?
Can you? That would be good. Maybe if Liz will write it, and then we can move on and try to tease things together, put things
Build
together.
a senior center?
Meet,
Meet the needs of Littleton seniors. But have we defined seniors yet?
Seniors are 60 plus,
Okay.
age-wise.
Okay.
of Littleton seniors.
And what about the 50-plus people that have been mentioned before?
They will become seniors, but they're not considered seniors until they reach age 60. But the reason that everybody looks at that category is that the people that are today 59 years old, a year from today, will be 60 and a senior.
We
And
could
so
always say the growing needs.
it's that's a good way to do it, maybe. A senior center to meet the growing,
The growing, the evolving, the
yep,
I like growing.
growing.
I like growing.
the needs of,
No, the growing needs.
the growing needs. So this is how, can be helpful. Yes, Peg?
How would it read if we just said a center to meet the growing needs of Littleton seniors? No,
A center.
no.
Keep seniors in there.
I think,
We have to say
Okay, one at a time, I don't care, but just let's try to stay organized. So, yes.
Marge, I think the specific was that we felt that this should be a senior center. And if we just say a center, then it could be multi-generation, it could be lots of different things. And I think that we were fairly specific in our first meeting of thinking that we needed a senior center. It's the only reason I said it that way.
I actually like that sentence because it's concise. It says exactly what we're doing. It doesn't leave anything to the imagination. So I like it, Maureen. Thank you.
Would it add anything if you put the needs of all Littleton seniors? Like that would, I don't know if that adds anything or not, but I'm looking at age-wise, it's not all the grade level folks versus younger seniors.
Are handicapped people in this category
This is
also,
present.
even if they're under 60?
No, only those handicapped 60 and over.
Okay.
What is the age now for being considered a senior or get close to getting into that?
60. Some people, we've been always looking at it, and and UMass, when they did the study, looked at it as 60 plus. So 60 and up. It could be 60 to 95, the oldest, resident in Littleton.
Yeah.
So it's
because
age 60, pardon me?
110.
100, it's, what's her name, right?
111.
111 she is, God bless her. No. But anyway.
She just turned 110. What, doesn't matter.
That's right.
She's old.
It doesn't matter. She qualifies. She's a Littleton senior, and she qualifies.
Yeah, she's turning on.
She still lives in Littleton.
But I don't think the vision statement needs to be that specific, because seniors, generally are categorized. Sometimes, my understanding is that they're considered from 55 and older.
If you're
But
AARP, it's 50. I mean, I think it depends on the group that you're talking about.
I think the general, correct me, Liz may know.
Generally, it's 60 plus, but not to complicate things further, but the Elder and Human Services Department runs out of the senior center. So,
That's true. We have to remember that,
Yeah.
because the town has, designated, it is Elder and Human Services. And so the director and everything includes all human services for all the residents, but we can't
So we-
state that there. That's not what we're working on
for
particularly.
our statement, we call it the senior center, but in the future, say, like Westford has the Callahan Center. We could name it something, so it's all inclusive for the future.
Okay.
Or maybe we,
I think you have to leave it open-ended.
'Cause things will
in
change.
society as it is today, has to be open-ended. You can't age restricted, much like the housing that's being developed in town. It's open-ended, but it's being built so that it's accessible to anybody who may need it. But it's not saying it's restricted to seniors.
Excuse me, I don't understand that. It's a senior center, it's obviously restricted, it's not a community center.
It doesn't say it's restricted.
Well, it says seniors,
Seniors.
and that's
Seniors.
exactly what we're building, is a senior
So if
center.
somebody came there and was 50, you'd turn them away.
That's details. We could talk about whether you think somebody's a senior at 50 or they have to be 60, who cares? The vision statement looks great to me, I think it's wonderful. Perfect, just the way it is. But make no mistake, we are not, as a senior in town, I am not building a community center or open-ended anything that says we have a senior center, but Park and Rec, come on down and join in and do whatever you want to do. No, we're building a senior center. Let's keep that in mind.
I hear you.
We don't want to confuse people either.
No.
So,
So, are we voting on this, or do we need
Well,
to
I-
make any more adjustments?
I think we still can work on it. Like what, but I don't know.
I think it's perfect the way it
Oh,
is.
that's fine, that's fine.
Make sure
I
that
think
you-
it'd be nice to have, and enriching the lives of seniors too, not just,
So one of the things that it says, though,
That could be the
is
mission.
not to,
Don't make it too complex.
right,
Yeah, I think it's perfect.
short.
avoid buzzwords and jargon.
keep it straightforward,
that
8th grade reading level.
Yeah, and the fact that it's saying growing needs,
Yeah.
that,
5 to 14, 1, 2.
you know,
So,
would
ready to vote on it.
say that you can just kind of increase it as you want to.
Well, I mean, that speaks to the issue indirectly of square footage and space. The growing needs, because we know our population already has increased by over 500 people in 8 years. Senior center, seniors, and it's going to continue if the projections are correct, which they seem to be headed in the right direction. So that,
I think this meets the needs of this group.
I agree.
I move that we accept the
Oh, wait a minute, Bob started, sorry. Go ahead, Bob.
I would move that we accept the vision statement as written on the board, as our vision statement.
Second, yeah.
Okay, any more further discussion?
How about my board? I agree.
I agree.
Great.
I agree.
Is that,
Well, that, no, you're included in it, you can't, I mean, legally you can't vote, but you have to
We can
say,
agree to it.
you have to agree to it. I mean, we want you to be happy too. I mean, this is the purpose of getting together.
I understand that COA has to vote and we can't, but I would like us to, at the same time, to say yay or nay. And I think we would have done that already, so.
Well,
we're done.
I'm seeing the heads nodding, but I want to be sure. Your board, your people.
Well, that's why I asked the board if they agree. I think, you
Anybody
know,
opposed?
it doesn't have to be a vote in, per
Right.
se, but at least you understand that we're together in this.
Yes, exactly. And we all have to agree on
Right,
this.
we're all together.
All together. And the audience who might view this needs to understand that too. It's a little complex trying to put a town-appointed board together with a non-appointed board, and I'm learning. I'm gonna probably make a mistake here or there, but anyway, you know what? You learn as you go. So,
I'm assuming that sometime in the future, you can change it at a meeting if you want to.
well, this is a vision statement for the purpose of these
Yeah,
two
well,
groups
I
coming
understand,
together.
But it's not written in concrete that's gonna last forever and ever.
No, it isn't, and that's what a vision statement is. It's
Yeah.
not something that does last. A mission statement, on the other hand, you know, is something, we have a mission statement already, which is the first thing, and then you have a vision statement for something you're working on, if I'm understanding it correctly myself, and this is what we're working on, is a senior center, because right now, our senior center does not meet the needs of the current population, never mind the growing population. So, clearly, this is what we're trying to accomplish.
And I moved it be passed.
Okay, it's been seconded. So any other further discussion? We know the Friends, we're all in agreement. Okay. All those in favor of adopting this? Oh, okay. Aye. I'm voting on this one too. Anyone opposed? And no abstentions. I believe it was unanimous, Bob and Friends. All agree. We all agree on that. So I think this is a workable statement.
That's a good one. Nice.
All right. Somebody make sure they got that written down. On paper. So, good, thank you. And I'm glad I took the time to find this because I thought we need something to help us try to deal with this. Otherwise, we'd be all over the place.
Thank you, Marge.
All right.
Could you repeat the mission statement?
The mission statement I will read to you. I can't repeat it. It's a little bit more complex.
No, that's the vision statement.
The mission statement for the Littleton Elder and Human Services COA reads, the mission of the Department of Elder and Human Services and the Council on Aging is to identify and serve the social, recreational, health, and educational needs of older adults 60 plus in the community. We strive to the greatest extent possible to maintain dignity, independence, and support for their role as community members. To this end, we provide opportunities for seniors to build physical, emotional, intellectual, and social well-being. In addition, we provide human services for all residents of the town, especially assisting low-income and distressed individuals with securing needed services. So that is the overarching mission statement for Liz to function under, really, as a director of Elder and Human Services. And then under, we have a special thing we're doing now, and our vision statement for what we're doing is to get this senior center today, if possible. So, the time has come. It's been 3 years, 4 months since the University of Massachusetts provided the results of their needs assessment to the Board of Selectmen. And if you look at it, and you really look at the data, we haven't done anything. Nothing's happened in 3 years and 4 months, except we've increased our senior population by 500 odd people. Since then, it's just, since 2010 it is. So, the number of seniors has increased, as well as the number of people in the age bracket 50 to 60. And we know those people are going to become seniors. Some of them will leave town, but some of them are going to want to stay, just like so many seniors here now do, want to stay. So, we need to get a senior center. So, basically. All right. Thank you. That was good. So, now, what are we going to do? What's our plan of action? Big, overarching question, where do we want to go from here? So, this is where our brainstorming comes in. Welcome, George.
Thank you very much.
Could I ask a bit of indulgence? Is it possible for the Friends to give us a summary of what's happened in terms of the DCU building to catch us all up to?
If there is anything to catch us up on, I don't know.
Barbara's hearing aid is not working well.
That's why I'm going, what? I'm sorry about that.
He wants to know what the Friends have any new information about the DCU building.
We haven't been back there recently. I'm kind of waiting for one of these meetings just to listen to how it's going to turn out and everything, and we will go back.
Okay, but I'm talking about the petition, which
we have a petition going.
What's happening with it? Why the numbers were chosen? Just a whole background on what you're doing.
Well, that's the Friends. As far as the petition goes, we have to make that very clear. That is a Friends project. It has nothing to do with the CO.
Why I'm asking for an update.
But I want to make it clear to people that might be watching that the COA board is not involved in the petition, and that's fine. We, by law, cannot become involved in that, but the Friends can, and it is their petition. And so if you can give him an update on that, or?
Yeah, we did start one, and it's called a petition, but it's like a survey. Because most of all, we want to know if people are interested in helping us to, you know, get a senior center a lot sooner than 20 years from now. And the petition, they've been going out there, and people have been signing them. We have quite a few filled. We don't need a lot filled for, you know, to get into the town meeting. But you only need 10 actually signatures. But I think we're doing really well with having the interest of seniors and people, not just seniors, anybody can sign it, but people who are interested in helping us get this dream of ours. And it's looked good so far. So this also makes us want to move on and push. Because if two people had signed and said we aren't interested, of course then we would have to say, what's the use? But it looks like we're going to continue trying to get this for the seniors, which means us.
The response so far to the petition has been very good.
You know what, you might need to come, because I don't know, it just occurred to me, spectators might, watching this, can't, if you don't come up to the microphone, they might not hear what you're saying. Or two of you can come up.
The overhead mics are working.
Me?
They are?
You can't hear me.
Oh, all right, never mind. No, somebody that knows more about this room just helped us out.
Yeah, because I'm sure that
There's
They're facing
overhead
us
mics,
the
and
same.
I didn't realize, there is one there, I see now, and one there, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alan. Okay.
at any rate, yeah, I'd rather be here because I want my board to be in on this too.
That's good.
So that's one thing that we're doing. And of course, we keep in touch with the Realtor because this building could be sold tomorrow anyway.
Exactly.
And then we would lose out on what we would like to have. This is why we're interested in moving forcefully along to see what we can do to, if you lose this building, if we lose this building, if it gets sold, we do not have another in mind. We have nothing else to go for. There's nothing that's been shown us. It's the first time in many, well, probably forever since I've been involved, that we have an actual building we can grab and use for the seniors. We've you know, talked about where's the land, where's the building, what can we do, how much would it cost? This is what we've done over the years. All of a sudden, we have a building, we've been in there, it's a start for us. The amount of seniors we have right now probably would be okay for many more. There's lots of room. We said we need, what, 16,000 square feet for a senior center? Is that what?
20,000.
No,
How much?
no, well, what we have now,
No. What, I want to know what the write-up is about
Projected was
how much we're supposed to have. It's like 16,000?
According to present figures, I think it
Okay,
was
but,
16,000.
but this is 22. I mean, come on. And there's, we could actually move in and use it while we have things done that are simple. The biggest thing is, if somebody wants to mention it, is the kitchen. And we're going to hear a lot about that. But this is also something we intend to do something about. And, yes, Bob?
Can I ask why they chose, I think it was $3.5 million, when I know that the building is offered for $4.3 million.
2 million for.
2 million, 2 million for. They are asking for.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was 4, and I couldn't imagine why you went less than.
No, this is why we're so interested in it too. It seems like nothing compared to some of the prices that we're asking for things in town.
Absolutely.
I mean, here we are, a small price to pay to make us comfortable and to do the things we want to do.
Sue Raymond, you have your hand up. Would you like to say something?
Okay, I'm seeing this as a resident. I'm looking forward to having a senior center in the town. I think we deserve it after spending all money on alumni feel the fire department, which we need. My concern with the petition, and I sent a note to Barbara and Marge, I'm getting questions because it says 3 million. I'm getting, what about this, what about that? How are we gonna pay for this? I've heard comments about the septic system. So having that replaced, and is that included in the 3 million that we're asking for? Or, and then the kitchen, which you had mentioned too, you can't bring the food there and have 100 people for lunch and ask them not to use the facilities. So there's a lot of questions that I have so that I can answer intelligently when I'm.
Okay. Hands up before you, Nancy. George.
Yes, George Sanders, 672 Great Road. Talking to Mr. McLaughlin, the realtor there, he said that the owner really truly wanted the town to have that building. So he sort of kind of had held off in a few cases there. But he says that it meets the septic, chapter 5, on the system there. And as far as the kitchen goes there, with the technology we have today, I think that's the least of the problem with regards to the senior center, and that we should try and get the building. Being a member on the open space there, I brought up several times about the DC building, and I actually went to Mr. Knox, Joe Knox, and asked him, could he get a hold to the realty, so that at that time Barbara and I wanted to go and look at the building because we hadn't seen the building. So he got in contact, and then he got with Chuck, and Chuck lined up so that we could go over there and look at the building initially. And we did that, and we saw that there was a lot of potential with the building that was there, and that we sort of kind of talked around, and I asked Mr. McLaughlin, I said, well, what do you think the bottom line that we could get this? He said, well, the town was talking to us before about it, and they sort of kind of led us on, and nothing really happened. He said, but I think that, they asked him the twofold for it, but we probably could get it a little bit less, if the town really was serious about wanting to purchase the building. So he says, we'll be willing to work and see what we could come up with regards to the cost for the building there. So I sort of kind of said, well, that's nice if we can do this. He said, but there's people still, I think he said went on the market that day that we was talking. So my thing is this. I think that the seniors have waited a long and overdue time with regards to the town. $3 million shouldn't be a problem for the town to come and give to the seniors for this. I checked with Steve with regards to come 1 July, what is the town debt at that time? It's going to be 18 point some million dollars, the town debt is going to be. So with that being said, as you know, that the libraries wanted to come before the town meeting and ask that they be approved, and that's somewhere around 14 point some million dollars there. But the thing is, what get added to the taxes is the total amount, even though the state is going to give 5 or whatever it is million to it, the town has to put the money up first, and then the state reimbursement and so forth and so on. So my main concern here is that I would like for the selectmen, which I asked at the open meeting, the open space committee, that they put the senior center at the front on the warrant, and that we recommend to the selectmen that it goes to the front so that this can be taken care of, so we don't have to drag the seniors throughout a long ordeal there. I spoke with Diane, the clerk, and she said that any money will go to the front of the warrant. So I think our idea of wanting to get this done this year is probable, and I think that it ought to happen. I think that we just need to come out in droves at that day on the 6th of May to vote for this here. And meanwhile, I think the selectmen, they're saying, yeah, you know, we want to do for the seniors. I've heard each and every one of them say that. You got 2 selectmen that's up for re-election this year, and I just think that the time has come. I've been in this town since '97, so that's been 21 years. And there was people that had been working on this senior center long before I ever came as a transplant here. And I've seen so much building take place in this town, and I think that, you know, asking for $3 million to give us a building, you know, that's probably the easiest request and the most selfish request that this town ever seen in terms of us coming and asking them, because we keep paying taxes over and over and over and over and giving everybody everything that they want.
So,
thank you, George.
We need it, we deserve it,
Yes.
we need to get our plan together.
Yeah.
So going back to Sue's point, we need to get our information together. So when people are asking these questions, what about the septic, what about the kitchen, we need the answers and the information. So maybe as part of the plan of action, we start gathering what questions we need answers
Right.
to.
I'd like to answer Sue's question.
Okay,
He didn't have a question, I didn't think.
Sue's question.
Sue's question?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, George.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
We have to get the town, this information to the town to get on the warrant by the end of March. I feel that by the end of March, we will not have the answers to all of Sue's questions. But by the town meeting, we will. All of her questions are very important, but all of this happened to us very quickly. If we knew what we know now, 6 months ago, we would have had the answers to those questions. So when people ask me, I said we're all researching it, and the answers will be available for you at town meeting, and your questions are very important and very much needed. Now, once the end of March comes, I don't know how much of we'll have answers to all the questions. There are lots of departments that have to be involved. It has to be the building committee, the Board of Health, the zoning, the boards, the selectmen. I'm sure I'm leaving out some. But also, Paul Lavella has been very involved with this and is the one that spoke to both boards. And he said, we're meeting, if we accept the DCU building, this is going to be part of the master plan. This is exactly what the master plan was asking for the community in the center of town. And this is going to be part of it. The gas station, Subway, and the little gardening place is all going. There's going to be a little strip mall being put in there, probably 2.5 to 3 years from now. And it's all going to be part of the master plan. We do have the questions. We do have some answers, but it's going to take time, and we have to get as much done for the warrant to get it at the town meeting, and then we'll have more answers.
So to go back to the action plan, how are we going to proceed?
I still have questions on the petition. Is the petition capable of being handed to the, with enough signatures being handed to the Board of Selectmen to be put on the warrant? Can it be used as an instrument to be put on the warrant?
That's not what it's for.
That's what it says, though.
How is it going to get?
That's because they use that form.
Oh, okay.
It's not a citizen's petition. You only need 10 certified signatures for a citizen's petition to get on the warrant. This is just looking to build support and to show that people are willing to sign up and say, yes, I agree with you, we need to have a senior center.
Okay, but how are we going to get it on the warrant?
We have the backing right now of 3 of 5 selectmen. We will write up, with the help of town council, a warrant article, submit it before the 29th.
Who is we and when will it be done?
Well,
Be the friends.
Us.
It'll be The
Friends.
friends.
We're the ones that have
We
to
have to
have
do
this.
this.
now, if it's not,
Just asking.
Okay.
if it's not a citizen's petition, then there's no reason why the COA can't be involved also. But the point of fact is that right now, the Friends had the idea that they would present this to the selectmen to get it on the warrant.
The petition that you have sent.
No. A statement requesting a warrant article to either go into negotiations to purchase the DCU center for a senior center.
And what do
Or
we-
any other action there too, meaning if the DCU building is not available, we will look to build on town land, but to get a senior center moving.
Okay, now, how many signatures is that going to take?
It just takes
Doesn't
10.
take
None.
any.
10.
None. None.
None?
Okay,
Because
so-
we're not presenting it as a citizen's petition. We're going to present it as a request for a warrant article.
Okay.
You only do the
So
citizen's
there's
petition,
two ways you can go, right?
you don't do the citizen's petition unless you don't have any backing on the Board of Selectmen for somebody to put the article on.
Okay.
Okay,
So who,
All right.
and the Friends will do that?
yes.
Thank you.
All
Okay.
right. David, you were trying to say something?
Oh, no, I was done.
Oh, okay. That was great.
You don't want to get
Who else has been trying? Yeah.
Barbara had.
Yeah, Marge, I just want to talk to Sue, because I know she is a detail person, and she wants to have answers, which some of them we cannot give to people yet, because we're working on, we explain to them that we have just started this, and we're so excited that we wanted to share it with the town people, and they can sign it and say, I'm in support of you having a senior, or even seniors saying of we having a senior center. The young people saying, you should have a senior center. That's what this is about. It's like a survey. It's
Okay.
not, it's not something to say, oh yes, we are looking for, we want you to help us, by, give me a donation of $2 million if you don't mind, because we're buying this place.
Yes, we'll take it.
Or, or this or this or that. You just have to say, this is so brand new, and we are working on all those details, and you will have answers. But I would like to have your signature just to say, good idea.
Okay, so maybe could we do something, a petition, and eliminate that $3 million and just say, these are citizens that are residents that are signing up in support of the senior center?
Well, we could ask Diane about that, but she wrote this up for
Yeah, I'm
us.
taking it to Diane, because when they
Yeah.
started the petition, they stopped, Barbara came to me and told me that they stopped it because the way it was done.
The way it was done, so.
I asked her for the petition, she gave it to me, and I taken it up to Diane, and
And she will do
Diane
that.
completely reworded it
Okay.
and did it, and I told her what they would want, so
They probably want to know, at least say, there is money involved in this, and this is the amount we're asking for.
Right.
So that we can at least try to get this.
And I told you, I'm more than willing to do this.
Right.
But then I was talking to a couple of neighbors, it's like, well, we heard about the septic, is it gonna cost more than $3 million, it's gonna this, it's like.
We don't know about that.
I don't know, so that's
not-
why I
What
wanted.
you have to say is,
Yeah.
that's not our problem.
Yeah.
This is our
Okay.
problem.
So, thank you. Alan?
Just one comment on that. We know the sewer project is also coming in.
Yeah.
It's possible the library will, but I think there will be fall meeting because they won't know yet
Don't know yet.
whether the state's going to come up with the money in time. This money, from the standpoint of financing it, we are going to ask that it not be taxed. This money to buy this building, we have sufficient funds in the capital stabilization fund in town, which we put aside for these kinds of things. We used it when we did Alumni Field, so there's no reason why we can't use it to buy the DCU building. If that's the case, although it's taxpayer funds, they paid it a long time ago.
Okay.
So in order to buy the DCU building, it's not going to cost the taxpayers anything. Renovations, Later on, yeah, we'll have to come back and ask for money for renovations, but to buy the building will not add 1 cent to the taxpayer. That's
I'm
the
hearing-
answer, that's what we're asking for.
I'm hearing from, okay, one more
The
thing
other
and then I
part
want
of
to
it-
speak, so go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I just want to add to that about the money, and the reason we're asking for 3 million, the building is not $3 million. We're asking for 3 for the renovations.
Oh, okay, great.
So
It's interesting.
actually, the building's cheapo as far as, I mean, you know,
In the grand
we
scheme
paying
of things.
money here.
I'm hearing, I'm hearing everything, or a lot that's been said, excuse me, indirectly addresses the need to educate people. And that's what your petition has helped do, obviously, from all the discussion. You know, I know that the COA board has been working on an article to get out to the papers, you know, about this to try to help people understand, you know, why the need is so imminent. And do we know still we know we have the DCU building. There's another piece to this that I would like to share though with all of you, and that is the town-wide space analysis working group. And there is, they have brought on board and Alan can correct me if I'm wrong, an OPM.
Project manager.
See, I'm a federal retiree, and every time I hear OPM, I think of office personnel management, so I get it all confused, so. But anyway, thank you. And Vertex is the name of the group that they have brought in as the OPM to look at, and I know they have been requested by the town to address and look at the DCU building and a separate standing building in the behind Shattuck Street as well. And I think that's been given to them as their first area of looking at, okay, what needs to be done here in Littleton and why they were brought in to begin with. It's a law in the state that you have an OPM.
Right.
So that's all in place. We have a meeting, the meetings are open. There's a meeting this Wednesday night. And there's 4 people that attend these meetings in this room right now. So I would encourage people to come to that meeting too, to ask questions and, you know, get the word out. That's not a televised meeting, but it's an open meeting and people can attend. So please, it's, the agenda should be posted Monday, as I understand it. So I just wanted to share that and share, again, whatever we can do to educate people, but that gets to our plan of action maybe. How can we get more education and more word out?
Yeah, this is why.
That's what we need to think about, and I got some hands raised here, so Sharon hasn't said a word yet.
I know. I just want to clarify this petition, which is really not a petition, but everyone that signs it, and if one of us are with them when they sign it, as I distributed this at Garden Club the other day, and just about every member in the club signed it, excited about it, educated about it, and informed that your presence is needed at the town meeting to pass this. They all feel that we do need a senior center. The second thing I wanted to say was, when you purchase a building, you never pay the asking price. So remember, we're going to negotiate a price under the 2.4.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, if you looked, I understand that they think they were assessed, the assessed value is 100 and, no, I didn't write it down, so I.
1.8. 1.8 million?
1.8 million or something like that is the assessed value of that building. So, because somebody asked the question, well, what is the town going to lose for real estate taxes?
Yeah.
On that building, and they're currently paying like 53,000 a year, real estate taxes. So you gotta, you know, we might get questions like that, and we need to gather that data and, no, but anyway, go ahead.
I want you to know that the Friends are doing their annual funding letter, and this year we're going to be more aggressive than we have in the past. Any money we get is going to go towards this new senior center, and plus some savings that we have. And we recently have gotten some very large donations, and it's going to go towards the new senior center. So We're just not sitting back and looking pretty. We're working really hard. But we'll only send the pretty ones out.
We have a mission, we have a mission on our vision.
You have a,
We send the younger ones out.
That doesn't keep you from looking pretty, though.
but, well, you know, the Friends does a great job raising money
younger
for
than
seniors
Barbara.
in town. So, but, and it's good to hear, because you can be out there fundraising and helping with this whole project, so
We're trying to
that's
be.
exciting to hear that you are actively really looking at that part of it. So,
I
back
think-
to the plan of action, I really am trying hard. What, I'm sorry.
One more thing is,
Yes.
when we talk about, like Sharon showing it to Garden Club and they signed it, what is interesting, and Sue, you might be interested in this, is that when we even bring this little survey out and mention something like that, it's like, I'll sign it, I'll sign it, I'll sign it. It's like, they didn't even ask us. They just said, give me the paper. Is that right?
Yes.
Maybe.
Our Garden Club president is here. We have her brainwashed.
But you know what, you make another thought just into my head too. It's like, whenever there are meetings or anything, even getting out and being visible, it keeps it there up and if you go to a selectmen's meeting, you know, those seniors are here again. You know, but we need to have people out. Visibility is critical. I think that's, should be a plan, under a plan of action, so. It should be one piece, so.
What about
Yes, oh.
taking petitions that, oh, sorry.
Next, George. Oh, Susan first. No, ladies before gentlemen, he won't
Okay,
mind.
thank you. What about, how would we go about getting petition over at Market Basket? I mean, I would volunteer to do that, but how do we do that? Do we have to go to the Board of Selectmen? I mean, we just can't show up there, I
I
don't
do
think.
not know. I don't know a thing about them.
You have to ask them.
You have to
ask the
ask
friends.
Market Basket, the manager there at Market Basket, and he'll normally tell you where you could stand out there, and both entries there.
But we have to get permission from the town.
Boy Scouts
No,
does it,
from the Market Basket.
Club Scouts does it.
Or Donlands, wherever.
Yeah, and we did have a woman working in the office that said she would be happy to go to Donlands and stand. I mean, I never met her before, and she was interested in standing there.
David.
Yes, David?
No.
Oh, wait a minute, George, I
Yeah,
promised
George.
George
Yeah,
after.
The only thing I was gonna add to that was just to make the comment that you gotta be careful when you're standing out at Market Basket, because 60% of those people are not from Littleton.
Yeah, it has to be Littleton.
So you have to be
Right,
very
no, I know-
careful.
I know that, yeah.
Put a big sign on it, says, you must be a
Littleton
senior
resident.
to sign it.
Make Littleton resident.
Actually, the best place to do that is at the, well, I call it the dump.
Dump.
Is there only Littleton residents?
That's right, that's true.
Not a bad idea.
That is a pretty good idea, yeah.
George,
I'm taking notes on this, thank you.
Just there.
Okay, where are we? George,
Yeah,
sorry.
I think with regards to the plan of action as to what the plan is, I think what Alan pointed out here, that should be your plan of action, is to get this article drafted up to go to the selectmen for this to be put on the warrant. And the petitions that is being circulated, that can be as a supporting document that can be offered to the selectmen of the interest in the community here for this. That, what I see as the plan of action is to get it on the warrant and with the amount of money that we would like. Other than that, it's working and educating the community by having to stand out on a petition. I mean, as the weather gets, maybe it'll break here for the end of February. Maybe we'll have some good days in March. You know, have a stand out to collect more signatures before we go and submit it. Meanwhile, in between, we would collect signatures based on the days that are available. Like today is not too bad, the sun's out there. But I think that should be the plan of action, is to get this article drafted to go to the selectmen for them to go. And I think it should be, in my opinion, which I'm going to mention again at the Open Space Committee, that it should be the #1 item on the warrant for the people to deal with.
Yeah, so, thank you, and I know the Friends have done quite a job with their petition. already, because you do have more than 10 seniors. So, yes.
Yeah, I'm just
Andy.
going back in time to Sue's questions. I think if you have questions that are not answered, I think it'd be nice to forward it to the Friends Board or something, so that at least we know. You might have a question we never thought of before. You know, so this would be good for us to know and to get answers to.
Well, that's good, and Sue
Yeah.
did ask some very, very good questions. She sent the
Yeah.
message to Barbara and I,
Yeah.
and my thing was the same thing. I'm researching some of this myself, which I have completed, but, so.
And if anybody wants to sign the petition, is what I do.
Much.
Yes, Maureen.
So they've hired this OPM.
Correct.
Vertex?
Yes.
Okay. And their number one job is to assess the DCU building with regard to,
Availability.
Well, no.
No.
Alan can probably better answer that question because he has had more experience dealing with these groups, but.
We've hired them on a long-term basis to look at the needs of the entire town. But since this DCU thing came up right quickly, the first mission that the working group gave them was to look at the building, look at the needs that would be done for the COA and the
Department of Elder
whatever.
Human Services.
And to come back with some ideas on how, if it looks adequate, which I'm sure it will, and some ideas on how we would break it up in order to use it. I don't know when, we've got a meeting coming up on Wednesday night. We may hear something then. Hopefully, we'll hear something from them at that meeting. At any event, this will be
Their priority.
a priority issue at that meeting to discuss, so that we'll have that, Marjorie will have it for the next joint meeting on 1st of February, right?
Yes, so, yeah, we are meeting next week, a week from today. We have another
So
meeting
we'll have
posted,
some, we'll have some
not posted
some
yet.
updated information from the working group then to pass on to all the
Right.
members.
so that was my question. Do they have a time frame with which we
Well,
are looking for?
They just came on board. They
Yep.
were just brought on board in,
We've given them that. We didn't give them the marching orders. Chuck DeCoste did. So I don't know if he put a time frame on it or not, other than it's something we need right away. I don't know that he put a date certain. But I'm hoping we'll have some information come Wednesday night that we can pass on at the next meeting.
from what my understanding is that he is hoping that they will be available to come to the meeting. Not to say that they have, I don't know what they've done so far. I mean, they just came on board in the end of November or into December, somewhere around there. So, and then I know the selectmen did not, well, the two selectmen that are involved for the town space analysis working group, I'm not sure exactly when they met with them, but I think it was the first part of January, and when they finally got together and gave them their direction, first direction. And the Vertex is a group, a company that I believe was it both the fire station and the police station utilized when they were going through this process of?
They did the fire station.
Fire station, okay.
And I think they did the
Field.
field.
The field.
Oh, not field.
Okay, so it's a group that the town has worked with before and they've been pleased with. So that's encouraging too, I think, for all of us. So there's lots of things happening and we just have to come together so that we're not at odds against each other either. So we want to make sure we're doing that, we're coming together. Pardon me?
We don't want to be in a silo.
Absolutely not. And, you know, it just is rewarding or refreshing to me to hear that, you know, people are coming up and speaking out and willing to support seniors. I mean, if you think about the square footage and all of that, that's Liz's thing, you know, she can help, and she'll be meeting with them, I'm sure. They'll be contacting her as the director to say, okay, what are the needs from your perspective as far as the building goes for seniors? You know, square footage, everything else. So, I'm sorry, Bob.
Okay, I would like to get clear on a couple of things. Assuming that someone, I still haven't figured out quite who, gets this warrant to the, warrant request to the to the Board of Selectmen, and the Board of Selectmen agrees to put it on the warrant, it is then within the purview of the Council on Aging to express their support of the warrant as is done on so many articles on the warrant, as it would be from the planning board, as it would be from the financial, what do you?
It's the same thing as the library.
Yeah, okay.
You are the driving board.
That would be our
for
step,
this.
would be to endorse it.
You, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Not only you endorse it, but you're standing there going, here, put this on the warrant, please.
No, sign the
Who's
check.
saying this? You keep saying you, and I.
This is you. This is you.
I
This is
will,
us.
All five, seven of you.
All right, Alan's got the floor right now.
I will take on the mission of seeing to the selectmen and the town council of putting together a warrant article. I'll do that. Once I'm assured that this is the way it should go, I'll probably give it to you, Marge, and you guys will present it.
Okay, and our next regular meeting is,
Next week.
No.
Second-
The COA
second
board or the
Monday.
friends in the COA board?
oh, the
Second Monday
COA
of
board.
February.
This is something that he's saying the COA board is going to present to the selectmen.
It's at the second or third, I think there's a holiday in there.
I just want
The
it very
11th.
clear that this warrant item gets to the
March the
selectmen.
11th.
Yes. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
You can have anybody else do it, I just volunteer.
There you go.
So hard.
We take that.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I think that the effort of this being presented to the selectmen, it should be a joint
Yes,
effort. I think that the Friends
yes.
and the COA should present it to the selectmen.
I would assume that we could do that because we've been working
Not cut you off,
together.
Al, But I think that the
But
Friends.
someone has to have the responsibility to take the petition, to get it prepared, and to hand it to
Alan
the
just
selectmen.
said.
Alan said he would get it ready for us.
And he's gonna give it to Marge.
And us,
And the Friends.
and us. I mean, he lives with this woman.
And the friends. Hey, the friends aren't gonna be left out of this, trust me.
I know you want it in your minute. He's gonna give it to both of us, to both boards,
So we can approve it.
yes.
They want us for our money.
Well, maybe you, for me, it's my looks.
Now, this special group is meeting in
Next week.
next week.
We have a meeting,
On the
we do not have it posted yet. We need to get onto that topic because I could not get that meeting, an agenda developed for that meeting until this meeting was completed today, so that I knew what to put on the agenda for the next meeting. So just,
Can we get that information and the warrant ready for this joint group to?
No.
No.
This is important.
No, it's
This
gonna be a
takes a lot
month or
more
so.
I
time.
want us to approve it so that we can put it to the warrant.
Well, yeah,
But
but we have
we
it
have
on
to
the
the end of
29th of March. 29th of March is the drop dead date for getting on the warrant.
I understand that. I'm
But
just
they-
looking at our next meeting of the two groups. Can we have
No.
that statement to look at?
no,
You're gonna have to give me about a month to put that together.
Okay,
I got a
It's
lot
not-
of
We'll be ready before town meeting.
okay. No, I'm not worried about before town meeting. I'm worried about before the warrant closes.
The warrant
Yes.
closes on the 29th.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
so nothing happens that fast in a week of that magnitude.
Okay.
We want it done yesterday, Alan, so get with it.
All right, a little while ago, George suggested a plan of action, which we're trying here to carve out and establish so that we have a sense of where we're going, and it would be helpful in planning future meetings. So, and he said, he felt the article drafted to go to the selectmen, right, was a priority and something that should be our plan of action, which Alan has just helped us with,
to do.
as far as that piece goes.
One.
All right, and so we will keep that on in our plan of action. And educating the community, someone used that phrase, and I think that is a huge ongoing thing. No matter what form, again, it takes and where we go with all of the other unknowns at this point. we need to have that education going on so people are interested and will come out and be available, so.
And also, there was a question of being visible. Now, are you considering
visibility.
that part of education, or is that on,
Well-
like we're out there?
I think visibility is important, and maybe that should be a separate action item, just trying
Well, I've got it
to.
on as a separate.
We just, as the board goes, we have to make sure we're not violating the open meeting rules and have a quorum present at different functions, so it would be good to communicate as board members if we're doing something. Which is highly unlikely that we probably would be all present at the same selectmen's meeting, you know, type of thing, so. But it's important, I think, for them to know that you're out and you're paying attention to this. So I would suggest we put visibility down as an action item too. Increasing visibility. All right. Barbara's got her hand raised, and Sue, do you too?
Just a quick question, Barbara. Have you contacted the building inspector to get Roland's ideas on the building?
Well, no, because like I said, this is so fast that
Yeah.
now we're looking at all the different areas that we have to talk to and do. I'm sure he knows by now, because I've had people mention it to me that I was like, I had an email from someone who said, I heard a rumor, is it true? And I said, yeah, you bet.
And another, does the PMBC become involved with the Permanent Municipal Building Committee? Did they get involved?
I have to tell you that
I don't know, just a question.
Richard Crowley
Crowley, yeah.
saw me outside the other
Yeah.
day. We started chatting, so I got his ear and I told him all about it. He's coming to our next meeting. He was very happy. Very happy about the space, and he's for it.
He's on the town space work analysis group.
Yeah,
too.
so anyway, he said I told him about today, but too late. He's all set for, plus he's bringing someone else from that committee with him. So I think we're kind of getting the word out, in other words.
I think we've done it, it's started.
Yeah,
Starting to get
I
out there.
wanted to tell you that, of course, today we did a taping of the show, my show,
Oh, that's right.
and in there I had a big spiel about this, what we're doing. Also, my interview was with Joy Richard from The Independent, and I told her how things are happening around here, and how many times Nancy has written to her and been upset because the article hasn't been in. She explains all that today, but I said to her, we need a lot of space if we're going to do this. And she said, I'm there to give it to you. She needs the information, send it to her personally. She said she'll get anything we want out there. So already we have a couple of places, plus our friends.
And I think also, I would like to suggest that we don't forget, because so many people in town have stopped subscribing to The Independent.
I told her.
But people still do get the Lowell Sun. Some people get it, and so the Sun should be included as one of our.
Perfect.
Even an article in the Action Unlimited.
Well, an Action Unlimited goes without saying. They've been the best.
Yes.
Of getting things out very reliably. So that, that is number one on the list. So Action Unlimited, The Independent, and the Sun, I think, are 2 or 3. And then the broadcaster, when things are appropriate, Liz can include things. So, yes, Peg?
Marge, I have a question. This might be a little bit naive. Is there any chance that this building could be scooped up before?
Certainly
Yeah,
could.
Oh,
that's
sure.
what I'm worried about.
Get
I mean,
our
who
down
knows?
payment down? Is there any way?
I don't know, but I know that Chuck DeCoste has a pretty good relationship with the realtor.
Okay.
So I think there's a connection there. I don't know for sure, but I know that they do know each other and everything, so I
But
would
it's the
hope.
owner we have to worry about.
But the question is, yes, that could happen. Someone could walk in, say, here's the money, and they take the building.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's it for us for whenever.
Oh, this would not.
Well, maybe, does anybody here, no.
Does anybody here got 2 million?
Yeah. Anybody? Who knows?
Garden club's money.
Yes, George.
As I said earlier,
Yes,
that
me.
I know the realtor said that the owner really wanted the town to
have
have
it.
the building. So I think
Hopefully.
having the owner to say that, I think that should be worth something.
And I think the fact that we've shown interest and there was such a large group that recently toured the building, And maybe if there's others, and we could set up another tour, if there's more interest out there and we're made aware of it, people wanted to go see the building, I'm sure we could probably work out something with another tour.
I think we ought to be careful.
So, I don't know. Well,
Why?
people have the right to, so, yes, Sharon.
I would like to say that Kate McLaughlin is not on your board, and she's not on the Friends board. But when she heard about us seeking a senior center and going for the DCU building, she said, I want to help. So she is now going independently to different senior centers, questioning them on what they might do differently.
Good question. Or what, yes,
And
what would
so-
you do differently if you were building it today?
Exactly. And I think she's going to have a great list for us to work with.
That's great.
Which is great.
We'll invite you to our board meeting.
Which is great.
That's wonderful. And we need help like that. We need that kind of information, and it's helpful. It's hard. I know Liz gets out to some of the senior centers in this area because your co-workers are other directors. You have meetings, don't you?
Yeah, there's one next Friday, so I'll be meeting with all my colleagues from the regional directors group.
And where? Do you go to different towns for
Yeah,
the
I
meetings?
believe the next one is at Acton.
Oh, good.
Didn't I hear that Groton is building one now?
It's built.
It's built, it's finished?
I believe it's finished.
No,
I don't think it's
no,
finished
just the
quite
steel
yet,
work is
no.
up.
Oh,
The framing.
oh, how did I miss that?
That would be the person to talk to,
Yeah.
because she's involved right in the middle of it. I'm assuming it's
Do you know her?
Yeah, Kathy. Yeah,
Shep.
well, she's building the building from the ground up.
Kathy Shuff?
Yeah.
And they had one, and this is a new one.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm looking at their website, and they have a ton of documents. Okay, just pages and pages and pages of all kinds of documents that might be of aid to us to use. So if anybody wants to go on I just Googled the Groton Senior Center, and you go to their webpage, and right on the right side of the page is probably a whole lot of documents that you could just open up and look at, surveys and all kinds of stuff. It might be a way to get some help.
Thank you. Good point.
Yeah, two things, Madam Chair. On that DCU building, it has a certification of Chapter 5 passed, that's on the septic system. So people should know there's not a problem with the septic system there.
Currently.
That's one. Two is, with regards to Groton, I watched the Groton Channel. I watched the night that they passed and put the bill through to build a new building. And they did that because the current place they have to bring up the ADA code, that it was going to cost them roughly about $1 million, and they weren't going to have nothing else other than what they already got there, and they decided, no, let's go and build from the ground up. So that's how that came about.
And that's the problem with this existing building we're sitting in now. It's not ADA compliant, and it would be exorbitantly expensive to upgrade it, so. And you're right, and the DCU building is ADA compliant, so that's one thing, we're on a big thing, really, in its favor, so. And it's interesting that the Title V, I don't know what that, if that's been approved, I don't know what the implications are for the kitchen. So I don't know, we'd have to find that out.
Yeah.
I've reached out to the Board of
Let's
Health.
get the building, in fact, someone in one of the committees, on one of the committees, said to me, get the building. Worry about all that later. You have the building. We can work on the rest.
Because it could go with a snap of the finger.
Yeah.
But then we have.
Well, this is like the field of dreams. This is, if you build it, they will come. Everything else will fall into place.
Well,
If-
you know, they will, I agree with you. You're already, I understand, the trends, you're already turning people away from your monthly luncheons because you can't accommodate them. And that's a very sad statement to make in the town of Littleton. That out of the 2,272 seniors that are currently here, as of December 2018, we only get to serve 100 a month, or the Friends luncheons can only accommodate 100, and we're turning people away. So, to me, that just strikes home, big time. It's not right. It's just not right, so. Yes, Anna?
I'm technology deficient, but I was wondering, in this day with Facebook and everything, is there a way to do some sort of little article on Facebook to let people know that there are petitions, or whatever you want to call this,
Yeah.
at the different places, so that if you're there, sign up for it? Then people could just forward it to all their friends, and that's a good way of reaching lots of people very
Does
quickly.
the Friends have a Facebook page?
I was just gonna ask Carol again. Carol's
Yeah, we
our
could do that.
computer
We could
savvy.
do that.
Just remember, it has to be documented Littleton residents.
Okay, yep, yep.
And they can get it at the thrift shop or the office, right? The petition?
Yes.
In the COA office?
Yeah.
No, it can't be in a town office.
No, okay.
It's in the thrift shop.
But it can be in the thrift shop,
Okay.
because that's your territory.
It's there, that one there is almost full already. They started yesterday.
We've got plenty of pages.
Yeah. So,
All the cookies are gone, I suggest we adjourn.
I do want them to know that
Second
don't
the
just
motion.
sign up and walk away. We
No,
still
have one
need
more
you.
thing to
Right.
talk about.
Marge, did you want us to answer any of the other questions?
Frequency of meetings.
Frequency of meetings. We have a meeting planned, and we have this room reserved for a week from today.
Right.
And then the question becomes, and which I didn't realize until yesterday, and I was thinking yesterday, oh, I need to get the agenda in to Diane to get it posted for the meeting on February 1st. Oh, but I can't do that. I can't write an agenda until we have this meeting today, and we know what to put on the agenda. So that's a lot. If you wanted, and there was the request was made at the COA board meeting a couple of weeks ago that we meet weekly. And that's going to be a lot, because it means, having to go home, get the agenda out, get it to Diane. It has to be posted, 48 hours, I believe, in advance. And if she's one person now, really, in the office, there's a helper in there, but I don't know who can post, because Diane did not give me an alternate to send it to. She said just send them to me. So, I would like to throw that out as far as frequency, when you're considering frequency of meetings for these two groups. Yes?
So Marge, one of the things that Alan said was he needs about a month to work with the town council and the people that will help him write up this article that will then be presented. We know that we have an OPM who's working on doing an assessment for the DCU building, but again, I don't think we're gonna have any information like right away. So instead of being once a week, or instead of being once a month, could we split the difference and maybe do like every other week?
Or twice a month, something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
It might be easier if we had established the first and third, or the second and fourth Fridays, or whatever.
We do have someone coming from February 1st.
Well, no, that meeting's already.
Right, that one's already on the books.
Well,
But then,
It's not on the books yet, we can change it.
Yes.
Not, the agenda
I
is
see
not
no
been
point
written,
in
no
meeting on the
posted.
1st of February.
Oh, no,
Very honestly.
we need that. We
Why?
absolutely need it. We actually need every week, because when the track people started their work on getting a track, they worked very hard every week so that they had everything ready when it came to the town meeting. I'm going to say that we need this once a week. They don't have to be real long, but we need them. But this is just me saying this, so everybody else can do whatever they want, vote, whatever. But we feel this is so important. We've got to keep that importance and everything going. Because what'll happen if we do it every other week and someone said, 3 people here say, well, I'm not coming to that one because I'm on my way to wherever.
Casablanca.
And, so we might have a better chance at having a full board.
I guess my question is, what is it that we need to be doing when we meet, so that if we're going to meet, we have,
Reason.
well, not even just a reason, although a reason is a good thing, but, okay, A, we need to do this, B, we need to do this, C, we need to do this, and then, okay, Marge, you're responsible for A, Patty, you're responsible for B, David, you're responsible for C, so that when we meet,
I agree with that.
we have something, right,
To
we have a
report back.
plan, we have, I'm afraid that if we are meeting every week and we don't have a plan and we don't have what needs to happen that we can get information for, that we're just gonna be sitting here rehashing the same thing every week.
Right.
I
We're gonna say
understand.
Same stuff over and over, and I'm not gonna come to meetings just to hear the same thing over and over and over.
I understand February 1st is important, so why don't we think about it and see what happens February 1st, and then decide? Because at February 1st, we might find out a lot of information.
They have invited someone to come to the February 1st meeting.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Am I correct?
Richard Crowley?
Yes, I
Crowley
thought,
said he was coming.
and he is, what is his title?
Chairman of
What does he
PMBC,
wear?
I think.
He's the PMBC, but he's just a member, he's not the chair. Steve Moore is the chair.
That's right.
Yeah, but a member's good too,
Yeah, you can take it back.
you know, because then it was, my members are good. I'm the
Now,
chair.
is
They're
he
all-
going to be someone that you want on the agenda to speak?
There might be others there when they find out, I mean, because they can watch this too on our channel. Every one of these is being televised so that they can watch and hear. Somebody may show up at the next one that
So-
says, I was watching and I had this in mind.
Okay, but we need to know, and you need to share with me the agenda items that we want, the items we want on the agenda, so that we know what's going on. And
Well,
know.
I imagine he's
So-
coming to also see where we are with this, and he can give an opinion. I don't know, you know, if he's like in the audience, if that means you need,
Let me throw this out for thought, consideration, and George, you're after me. Yeah, he's been raising his hand for a while, I'm sorry. But it's a thought, I mean, are there other people or, town,
yeah, well, like Chuck was
Sounds-
supposed to come today, but he couldn't make it.
so, other people that we need to invite and give them agenda time to be able to get answers to some of the questions you have.
Why not?
But see, also, there
I don't
are
know.
there are a few meetings going on this coming week, and you'll have answers to some of the questions that we ask now for our next Friday meeting.
I understand that as far as the space goes. I promised George, Sharon, and then you next. George?
I would suggest at the February meeting that you notify which departments that you would like to go to the DC building and look at it and give you feedback and set up a date that you can go in there with them and they probably can answer questions that you may have with regards to that. And then that way you can come back to the board, don't need everybody, but you can come back to the board and say, we had department A, B, C, D, E, and this is some of the comeback feedback information that we got with regards to that building. That would be nice to know as to what, because if the health board, you invite them, you could address about, okay, what could we do for a kitchen?
But would that be overlapping with Vertex and what they're doing?
No, I don't think that would. We really don't know exactly what Vertec is going to do because we haven't had an open space meeting to put input into Vertec as to what
Well,
we would like
I
to
know,
see
I
them
think
do.
they meet. Okay. I'm a novice when it comes to, Vertex in this group, but, and what they, I know, ultimately, they even recommend an architect, once they help just pull out and tease out your information. So I'm just not sure.
I just think having the town departments behind this mission that we got here, certainly to me, it will carry some weight in terms of we're including people that,
That might be good to do after we have the architect from Vertex go through.
Or
we
whoever.
don't have very much time here.
No, I
We're
know.
talking about the 29th of March here, and we're talking about what can we have for agenda so that we would come and hear what the update is.
All right, perhaps maybe at the meeting, I don't know if you can be there Wednesday night, then maybe we can ask Vertex. We can gain maybe some more answers from them directly at the meeting Wednesday night. But as far as other, I don't know, who would have answers to the septic system questions in town?
The health board.
So,
I've already reached out to Jim
Gareffi.
Greffy, yes. You always help me with that last name.
Marge,
And
will,
what can she finish?
Waiting to hear back.
Oh, she's waiting to hear back from him. Yes.
will the town, the space committee meet before next Monday?
Yes, we're meeting next Wednesday night.
So you will,
We can report back.
we'll have met before the first. So that could be an agenda item to report back to us.
Oh, it will be, because George actually is on that committee as the community member at large, one of them. And Alan McCray represents the finance committee, and I represent the COA board, and Liz is a staff, all the staff people are all involved too. And so, and Liz was attending prior to, being out on maternity leave, anyway.
I'm just suggesting that that might be an agenda item for that
Right.
meeting.
It will
so that
be.
we can hear where everything is.
Certainly.
I move we adjourn.
Well, is there any other discussion?
I just want to make one last comment.
Yes.
When we talk about the Facebook with the friends, why don't we put that on the town calendar also, on the TV?
I'm looking at my techie.
The meetings, you mean the meetings, George?
No, about the petition, they were talking about
They're going to put that out, I think, is that what? It's
Facebook,
gonna go
I'm
out.
talking about the town calendar, which shows on the television.
That's
just
cable
TV.
Oh, we're talking about it.
Yeah.
It'll be there. We're putting on as much as we can about this.
Well, and just having these meetings taped and put out there too is a big thing, because people have access then to what's going on. So, a lot's been done already, really.
Yeah, I saw the DCU before I came here.
You what?
I saw the DCU
Oh, video.
video before I came here.
Yeah. So,
I second the motion.
I'm sorry, I ignored your request.
You ignore me all the time, that's all right.
And there you have it.
Oh, he feels bad.
I'm sorry, and I was out of order, I guess, really, huh? Bad.
I moved and seconded that we adjourn.
And you moved and seconded, all right. It's been moved and seconded by Maureen that we adjourn. But I just want to be sure, are the friends settled? I have to ask this question where we're two groups here and they don't get to vote.
we're fine. Oh, I'm fine.
I'm never fine, so it's okay.
Is it okay with everybody?
Okay.
Nothing's really hanging in limbo?
So we're gonna meet on February 1st.
Next meeting is a week from today at 1:30.
And then we'll decide if we're going to meet weekly, bi-weekly,
Whatever.
whatever.
Okay, and that will be on the agenda as well. All right? Frequency of meetings. If you have any other agenda items, please get them to me by tomorrow morning, because as it is, it's already 3. Even if I were to go home and type an agenda, I doubt it would get posted today by Diane. So if I can get it into her, it'd be there Monday morning. So sometime before midnight Sunday,
Well,
If you have an agenda item, please get it to me and so I can include it.
Would it be easier for you and your board to meet before 1:30?
It's the first, so it's
No?
It doesn't matter to me.
I don't think, I know that David.
I didn't understand the question.
David is best at, earlier than 1:30, be good for you?
I can do earlier, unless I
But
forget.
I can do earlier.
Unless
The
I
only thing
forget.
is, we have an awareness meeting once a month at 12:30.
Correct, and the awareness subcommittee of the COA is a key player as far as educating people. That's their job, is to, you know, improve awareness of things that are going on, so. They need to have their meetings.
Right, but again, that's only once a month.
Yeah, right.
On the second Friday,
And that's at
12:30.
12:30, yeah.
So you'd have to call it short to make, if we were to have a meeting afterwards.
They really.
Right, but if we were gonna meet on the 1st and 3rd, then it wouldn't conflict at
Right,
all.
right.
Unless somebody passes out.
We are meeting February 1st at 1:30.
All right, I
Do we have
had a
to-
motion
do we-
to move, it's been moved and seconded.
Do we have a location on that meeting on the 1st?
This,
Yes,
it's-
right here.
This room is reserved for
already
next
booked?
Friday. It is already booked.
Thank you.
The agenda is not out, that's all. But the room is booked. So, if you go on the well, I don't know, it should be on the calendar. No, I don't know when she puts it on, whether she gets the agenda first. But anyway,
Who's she?
Diane Croy.
Okay.
So, it's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor? Aye. And I know the friends are okay with it, because I feel that I've checked with you. I'm trying to keep
That's
everybody
right,
happy here.
we'll just stay and have our own.
It's been moved and seconded, Bob, I don't think they were able to